Hello YouTube, got another quick video for you. Not anything technically related to Bibles or pens or flashlights or knives or EDC or sermons or anything like that. But it is something that I thought would be, of interest to maybe a few people, especially for those who maybe put value in Bibles or study books or writing and journals and paper and things like that. What we have here is, I believe I'm pronouncing it correctly, an embosser. And what you do, if you haven't seen it before, you put a piece of paper in there and you stamp it, and it leaves, leaves a mark in the page. I'd seen them online, and there was a book that I bought from someone locally, and a used book, and it was a set of books. And what this guy had done is he had something similar to this, and it had his initial, I think it was a L, had the letter L, and then it had like a little ring around the L saying, I think, his name, and then from the library of such and such. And so I'd started looking into them. Most websites I looked at, they were really expensive, and so I didn't pay it too much attention. Vistaprint, which is the place where I get my cards from, they make really nice cards, and I got them from them, and so they always have a lot of design things for sale, really cheap. Or I say really cheap, a lot cheaper than going to a local office store or whatever. And so I looked on Vistaprint, and they had an embosser. The only problem is just reading the comments on it made it sound like it wasn't very good. It seemed like there may be a comment here or there saying how good it worked, or how well it worked. But most of the comments were people complaining, and then the Vistaprint customer service responding to them, asking how they could help them or refund them or replace it or whatever. And usually a comment or two you can overlook, but when most of the page is not good, I said, well, I better not waste my money on that. So anyway, didn't think about it anymore. And then I got an email from, either I was looking or got an email, whatever, from Groupon. I don't know if Groupon's worldwide or not, so if you're overseas, if you're not familiar with Groupon, it's like a deals site where, they may have something that costs $100. They may have it for $35 or $40 for a short time only. One of those type things. Well, there was a company called, I don't know if they call themselves 2712 or 2712.com or whatever, but 2712 Designs, I believe it's called. They had partnered with Groupon, and they had this embosser that is, I believe normally they said it's about $60, and they had it on sale for $19.99. Now, I haven't looked in the last few weeks, but I know that the special did stay on there for quite a while. So and sometimes those specials will show back up after being gone for a little while. So if you go to Groupon, and probably the easiest search is just type in 2712, and it should be one of the first things that comes up. And so just to give you an idea what the purpose is behind it, got a journal here. This is a R.L. Allen brown chocolate journal. Well, let's see. You can kind of tell the layout. They had several designs that you could choose from, and so what I did is, well, the ring you can't design, but they've got the phrase there that means, from the library of, and then it's got my name, Tony Walker, and then I put, forgive me for not knowing what it's called, the little squiggly, a squiggly, and then a space, and then 2 Timothy 4:13, 2 Timothy 4:13, which is Timothy, or excuse me, which is the Apostle Paul before he dies. Shortly before he dies, he's writing to Timothy from prison, and he says, when you come, he said, come quickly, and he said, bring the books, but especially the parchments. And most people, commentaries, study books, whatever you read, Paul was saying that he wanted the Old Testament scriptures, he wanted those, and he wanted his books, whatever books those may have been. They try to speculate on what they were. But the idea behind the verse that I take away is this: the Apostle Paul knew that he was going to die very, very soon. And he didn't say, you know what, I'm going to die, I don't need to read anymore. And there's a tendency among some groups of Christianity, what I am usually identified with Baptist. There's a branch of Baptists who don't put very much stock in learning and reading and education, and studying, and without getting too sidetracked. And so I just, when I first saw that, here Paul is ready to die. And he knows that he's going to die. He tells Timothy, I know my departure is at hand. I fought a good fight. I finished the course. I've kept the faith. Henceforth there's laid up for me a crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, shall give me at that day. He knows that he's going to die soon. And he knows that even though he may never preach another sermon, he may never teach another lesson, he'll never go from house to house talking with people anymore, he still wants to learn. And so what I get from that is that he didn't study so he could preach. He studied so that he could know the one about whom he preaches. And even if he never preached again, he still wanted to know God better. So anyway, that's why I put that verse on there. And then one other little note, you'll see that there's a cross right there. Now that cross is not part of the design. And 2712 designs, I don't recall seeing any specific religious designs on there. So it wasn't like they already had, a Christian themed stamp design that I'm aware of. But now I'm not sure how it will work on a Windows computer. I'm sure there's a similar way to do it. And at first I was kind of worried that it may not turn out right. But on an Apple computer, I think I'm trying to remember where it's located, but when you're in a text field where you can type in text, whether text edit or notes or an entry field in a web page in Safari, as the case is with the 2712 designs, you can go up to the menu bar, and I believe it's edit will bring up the text and special characters box. And in that box, I think it may be listed under symbols, and I could be wrong. You can try it out on an Apple computer. If you hold down Option and the letter T, or if you hold down Option and type the letter T, what that'll do is actually put that cross, Christian cross, there next to whatever else you're typing. And so that was my way, although they didn't have a Christian theme stamp prepared, that was my way of adding, a cross to that. On the Apple computer, Option T will make that cross logo. Now, that wasn't a guarantee that it would show up in however they make this at their company, but lo and behold, it arrived and the cross was there just like I expected. So that was a nice surprise that I was a little bit worried about. Now, so how does it work? What you do? Well, we have here the works of Jonathan Edwards, Volume 24, Part 2, the blank Bible, which does not mean he tried to take things out of the Bible. What Jonathan Edwards did is he had someone give to him a King James Bible, and in that King James Bible, the Bible would be like right here, and then he had all kind of blank space to work with. And so the nickname, the blank Bible, back before the days of wide margin Bibles like preachers and people who study are accustomed to using today, Jonathan Edwards had his version of a wide margin Bible called the Blank Bible. And inside of part 1 is his Old Testament notes, and part 2 is what he wrote in the margins of his New Testament. Let's see, there was a page. Let's see what it had. I just saw an illustration. Thought I did. Okay. Well, yeah, that's in the back. The notes and the blank pages in the back he used to write some things. But, okay, well, anyway, this is his New Testament. The notes from Jonathan Edwards, quote, wide margin, blank Bible. So, here we are on the first page. Uh-oh. So what you do, you get your page right there. Put it in like that. And then give it a good squeeze. There's no click or stopper or anything to tell you exactly when to stop. You just kind of get a feel for it. And then and there you go. From the library of Tony Walker, 2 Timothy 4:13. All right, so again, I know that's not a review about a particular Bible or pen or anything, but you know, usually if somebody is buys Bibles and study books and journals and ink pens and things like that, usually this is something that that they may be interested in as well, and so I wanted to point that out to you. I personally, disclaimer, I never tried the Vistaprint Embosser, so I can't comment on all. The majority of those negative comments are true, but it did scare me away from it. But I did, you know, see this. It was normally $60, and it was on sale at Groupon for $19.99, and so thought it would be worth a try, and it's worked out very, very well. One thing I guess I can mention, you can, it comes as two things. The stamp itself is like a little separate part, and then you have this thing. I'm not sure exactly what they call it, but the part with the handle. And this was this metal plate was separate, and the little whatever, that part of it was separate. And so what you do is you slide it down in there, and it hooks in there like that, so you can stamp it. And so what I get from that is, if you wanted to, you could save some money if you wanted to buy maybe a stamp for work and a stamp for church and a stamp for home, or a stamp for with your return address on it. They did have some like that were pretty cool. You could go about that way, and instead of having to spend the money and buy, you know, complete sets, you could just buy one handle thing, and then get different one of these to take in and out. So just an idea, just a thought. If you have any questions about it, I can try my best to answer them. But mainly, just wanted to give you an idea about that, because, you know, it interested me, and if your interests are similar to mine, it may be something you want to check out as well. Again, that was at Groupon, and they were partnered with 2712designs.com, I believe it is .com. And you can check that out and see if it's still on sale. Check out the other YouTube videos, the sermons, the podcasts, the Bible studies, ink pen, fountain pen, pocket knife, Maxpedition bags, wallets, tactical things, and all sorts of various other things as well. Check out the website, preachertony.com, and you'll see some things there, if that would be an interest to you as well. Take care. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.